it's Marissa, and today I have some very embarrassing but entertaining story times of my period and things that happened to me because I have the worst luck ever. So if you guys want to stay tuned and hear some pretty embarrassing and humiliating stories about me that has happened thus far in my period, which I'm sure there's many more to come, go ahead and keep on watching. So let's just start from the very beginning to the first day I ever got my period. So the first time I ever got my period, it was like the weirdest thing. I never had any cramps, any unusual like stomach pains or anything, which is bittersweet because obviously I didn't have pain, but obviously I didn't know I was starting my period or had any signs of knowing that I could be possibly starting my period, so bittersweet. I was actually at a restaurant with my mom, and it was like one of my favorite places to eat, so you know what, I was having a good day. Like, it was a good day for me. And so we're eating and whatever, our meal's coming to an end, and I had to go to the restroom. So me and my mom, like my mom would always go to the restroom with me when I was little because, you know, crazy people out there. Am I right? So we go into the restroom. There's like 4 stalls in this restroom. Mind you, at the time I was 13 years old. So I was in one of the stalls and my mom was like washing her hands or whatever. And I thought it was just me and my mom in there because I didn't see anyone come in or hear anyone come in. So I was going to the restroom and I take off my pants and I'm like astonished, terrified, and like think I'm dying because I take off my pants and let me tell you, it's fucking Niagara Falls of blood in my underwear. And I just remember thinking like I'm dying, like oh my god, what's wrong with me, like freaking out. And I scream, Mom, I'm dying, right? And she's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I told her that I'm dying and I'm bleeding internally. And and my mom's like, Marissa, you probably just started your period, like don't worry about it, it's normal, it's just your eggs coming out so you're not pregnant, da da da. And like, me being like a 13-year-old girl and like not processing what that really meant, I just remember screaming out on the top of my lungs, so this means that I can't have babies? I hear a chuckle in the stall next to me, like laughing out loud, and that's when I realized that I wasn't alone in the bathroom with my mom. So that was super embarrassing thinking about it, looking back. More funny than embarrassing, I guess, but that was the first day I started my period. I thought I was dying. My next story took place probably 4 months later. So after the first time I got my period, I didn't get it for like 3 months. I was like super irregular. So all of a sudden I'm in Burlington Coat Factory and I'm with my aunts and we're just like browsing around and I start to get like these really weird stomach pains, which I didn't get the first time I was on my period, so I didn't think that that could even happen, and I also didn't have it for 4 months, so my period was like the last thing on my mind. So I get like these really weird stomach pains, and girls, you know how pooping stomach pains and period stomach pains are completely different. You can totally tell when you have your period and when you have to like poop. But I didn't know that at the time. I'm walking around not thinking anything of it, and my aunts, like, oh, when they're in a store, they are in a store. They will not miss one thing. Like, they browse up and down the same aisle like 15 times to make sure they've seen everything in that damn store. So I am walking around with them and I remember thinking like I can't wait to leave, like my stomach just hurts. And so I kept telling her like my stomach really hurts, like do you think we can leave? So they really weren't paying attention to me. They were kind of just like, oh, go to the bathroom, there's a bathroom over there, whatever. Like they had like this little beanbag chair and it was a light blue beanbag chair, so I sit there because when I sat down it kind of felt better. So I was just sitting down and I remember thinking like, man, I just really need to go to the restroom. Like maybe just going to the restroom and sitting there will like make me feel better. So I go to the restroom. When I went to the restroom, took off my pants, and it was Niagara Falls Part 2. And that's when I knew that I had my period again, and that's the first time I realized what cramps felt like. In the bathroom, like getting like toilet paper because I didn't have any pads or tampons because I didn't get my period for like 3 months, and I only had it that one time, so I was not prepared. And so I put like toilet paper and like balled it up and put it in there, put my underwear back on, put my shorts back on, and didn't think anything of it. So I go outside and wash my hands in the sink, and you know, like us girls always check ourselves out. So I'm like looking at myself, da da da, and I turn, and that's when I see that my white shorts have a huge stain puddle of blood about this big by my butt and my woohoo. I was so so humiliated. I didn't know what to do. Like, what am I gonna do? Thank God I had like a cardigan on, so I wrapped my cardigan around my waist, like ran outside to find my aunts, and my aunts were right by the chair I was sitting on. And I look at the chair, and there is a stain of blood, just as big as there was on my pants, on the beanbag chair. I'm like, bright red like a tomato, so humiliated. I tell my aunts, like, listen, you weren't listening to me before, but you're gonna listen to me now. I show them, turn around, and they're like, oh my God. Who knows how long I was walking around that store without my cardigan with the huge puddle of blood. Like, who knows how many people saw that. I was so humiliated. Oh my God. Never forget that day. My next period story was really humiliating at the time, but now that I think back on it, it's like no big deal because it happens to every girl. This happened when I was about 16 years old. I was in a history class, and I really knew that I was starting my period. My stomach, I was getting these cramps, and I like felt it. And when you feel it, you gotta run to the bathroom and take care of your shit. So I asked the teacher if I could go to the restroom. She said yes. So I go back to my seat, go in my backpack, grab a tampon, and where I was sitting in this class, it was all the way in the front. So I had to walk down the aisle and across the room to get out of the door. So I go to the front, grab my tampon, and I'm walking out of the door. And so I had it in my hand, kind of like tucked into my sleeve, but you can still see it a little bit. So when I was walking back, my friend stops me and not paying attention to me, but just sees me passing and was like, Marissa, I need to borrow your pencil. Can I grab it? Grabs my hand and grabs my tampon out of my hand, thinking it was a pencil. He realizes and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, like, here you go. And I'm sure like everyone in the class saw like that was around them because we were working on like group projects, so everyone was in like group circles. It was like so embarrassing at the time. I remember like grabbing it and like running out. I was probably red as a tomato again. Thinking back on it now, it's really not that big of a deal. I don't know why people have to like hide their tampons or hide their pads and be so secretive. Like, it's not even embarrassing. It happens to everyone. But in the moment, whoo, you better believe your girl was as red as a tomato. So those are some of my period horror stories that were super humiliating and super funny and entertaining. So I hope you guys enjoyed them because it's embarrassing to even tell them to the internet. But I have a lot more period horror stories, so if you like these stories, comment below and I will do more. To any of you who are just getting your period and feel super embarrassed, don't. It happens to everyone. It's normal, and you're becoming a woman, so welcome. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you like these kind of more funny, entertaining videos, and please, please, please comment below what you'd like to see. And other than that, I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.